Long time no see. I have been busy doing a lot of 25-point games and battle box games with new players, and it's been a blast. But here we go. I got a 75-point game, and I can share it. This is turn one. I am using the CID version of Rahn and Forges. Those infiltrators on the left over here, they are indeed battle mages. There's 4 units of them. Polarity Shield is on Helios, and everything ran forward. I'm trying to set myself up so that I have correct and aggressive positioning for assassination or attrition in the middle of that board right here in the middle of this gap. He's bringing Maelok. He's got a Sacral Vault instead of a unit of posse. And I really like this change. I think it's a great change. It has telemetry, so its magic ability for Soul Slave that wants to cast Mortality each turn, it's now magic ability 6 boosted. It's just a great thing to have. Mortality is an amazing spell, and getting it out there with a little bit more reliability each turn safely, fantastic. It also helps Maelok for throwing out Mortality. And yeah, other than that, it's just a Maelok list with a Spectral Vault, which also is about the worst thing in the world for single wound infantry. It is really a dick punch to single wound infantry. If you get within 2 inches of it, you just take a point of damage as long as it has a soul on it, and it generates souls as a thing. It just does. It doesn't need to spend for them, that generation. It just happens as long as it doesn't have souls on it. So it's pretty much always going to have souls on it. It can also boost with those, and it has a D3 jump gun, which brings a range presence to the list, and I really like it because when you know a list is completely melee based, you can there's like this line that you there's a really easy to see line, and as long as you're not on it, you can do whatever you want with your other models. As soon as a gun enters the list, you then have to take extra consideration during each turn, thinking, where's my support going to be so it doesn't just die? Or if he shoots this journeyman warcaster, oh no, I lost my jack, and oh craps. Just adding that gun adds just a little another element to the game. That Wrong Eye and Snapjaw are not Wrong Eye and Snapjaw. They are the Cauldron? Spear Cauldron, I believe. Yeah. So this is my positioning. I want to threaten assassination. I'm trying to set it up so that Chimera can get pretty much anywhere wants to get. Pheonix is ready to go in and do work. Helios can also go in and do work, and all 3 of those can move independently of the other. And I don't have anything blocking them, which is very key for my assassination run. The Pheonix is on Elara, who is right here. If I so choose to, she can apparate right next to that Helios and charge somewhere and then speed to death away to somewhere better. Not really a plan, but, it's there if I want it. Next turn. He pops feet. He runs everything forward. Maelok is camping 2. There's a wrastler in front of Maelok. He used his Sacral Vault to shoot the chimera a couple of times. Didn't kill the chimera. Did some decent damage to it. Yeah, I was luckily within 1 inch of that barrel after a TKing a Ford. Last turn, Ron TK'd the Pheonix himself and the chimera and something else. Maybe it was, yeah, he TK'd something else, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, his stuff is all up there being threatening. Getting into my grills. So, this is how this is going to go down. There's Arcane Vortex on that Sacral Vault, but it's not within range of the Wrastler or Maelok. It's assassination time. Maelok's good armor, but pretty much my entire army can hit him, so let's do this. Chimera apparates to line up a better shot for Force Hammer onto that Wrastler, so the Wrastler's going to go right over the top of Maelok. Anything but a 1 makes him go over the top of Maelok. If I roll a 1, he just goes into Maelok, and then I have to do TKs to move him around. So to start things off, the Sylis gives Ron Arcane Assist. The Arcanist puts Concentrated Power onto Helios. The Arcanist unit fully loads up Helios and Pheonix. Elara allocated 1 to Pheonix. So they're both ready to get in there and do some melee and do some killing. Then Ron activates. He sends a Force Hammer through this Chimera, who lines up. He apparated to line up a better shot on that Wrastler. The Wrastler, I hit the Wrastler. I roll a 2 for distance, and it goes over the top of Maelok. He's on the other side of Maelok's center of base, So least disturbance pushes Maelok in front of the wrastler. And yeah, they're both knocked down. And this is the beginning of the end. So Maelok takes like a point or two of damage. Wrastler takes like 6 points of damage. And then I TK Maelok, then turn him around and bring him a little bit closer. And then this unit of battle mages that's right here next to Helios, they move up to the left-hand side of these barrels in that open space, and they start pulling Maelok to the barrels. They pull Maelok to the barrels. They do a little bit of damage to him. Now the plan is, for order of activations, pheonix can just walk in there and beat on Maelok, and then speed of death out of the way. And then Helios can charge Maelok after that. And if he can't charge Maelok, this unit of battle mages is going to go pull him some more. This unit of battle mages over here is going to walk in front of those gators and shoot around the house to pull Maelok this way even more if I need to. I also have this unit of battle mages that can go in and do some shots on him. I just got tons and tons of damage. pheonix ends up walking in there and killing Maelok. He had 2 transfers and just kind of burned right through him. I was a dice -3 or something like that, and after the damage from the battle mages and the damage from Rahn's force hammer, it just sort of killed him. Oh, and I put a chain blast into. Sorry, I didn't TK Maelok. I put a chain blast into him with Rahn. That's I figured I could get him anywhere on the board I wanted to, because Helios still has his tractor beams for when he charges up there. If I need to, I can charge like a posse or something, or there's so many freaking options for what I want to do here. So that was a really quick game. Maelok's dead. I didn't want to spoil anything with the time of this show, so I'm going to talk about 2 concepts. One concept is how to do deployment based on how you want to win the game, and the other concept is how you get the most out of a post-game talk. So, first I'm going to start off with a post-game talk. This game was really quick. Its value is not very good because he moved too far forward and I just assassinated him. I could have messed up so many things and still pulled off the assassination. So let's talk about this assassination. Let's talk about this game and talk with your opponent about all the what ifs and how this game would be different. Because there are many, many paths in this game that lead to different results, and this is just one of those many paths. So I can't go forward and confidently say I can play into Maelok and beat him every time just because of the results of this game. I can't say that. So talking with this player after the game will allow me to understand the Maelok matchup more and know about my future drops, how I go into it. If instead he had camped he rolled a D3 and he rolled a 6 for his souls on his blah, 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 the giant battle engine thing that has Arcane Vortex. If he had put Maelok right behind that, it would have been a freaking disaster. And especially base to base, because if it's base to base, if I just TK it, I still don't get line of sight to Maelok, and he's still within Arcane Vortex range. So he can just let me TK that. Oh man, this is really bothering me. The battle engine thing. We're going to call it the battle engine thing. I know I said the name of it. I'm so horrible with names. I apologize, guys. I sound so pathetic. But anyhow, if he's base to base with it, he can let me TK that thing and still be within Arcane Vortex range. And then he can Arcane Vortex all the TKs, all the Force Hammers, all the Chain Blasts that I want to do to move around Maelok and set up my assassination run. And let's say I do get one TK off and I create this weird little tiny gap that I can possibly fit Maelok through. Then Helios or Battle Mages or something are going to have to go create more of a gap. As soon as Helios invests himself just for the tractor beam, I lose my almost guaranteed method for killing Maelok. Because Maelok is armor 21 right now, I believe. 17 to 19. Yeah, he's armor 21 on 2 transfers and decent number of boxes, like 16 or 18. So he's not just going to up and die easily. pheonix, sure, can do some good work on him, but I'm relying on dice and a lot of damage rolls to get the work done. Or I could potentially just shoot him down with battle mages. But these are things that are worth talking about with your opponent. The what ifs of if he was tired and he knows what Rahn does. And as soon as I started my turn, it was like, oh crap, Why did I do that? What am I thinking? I'm playing against Rahn. Here's my caster on a silver plate, and I'm not in Arcane Vortex range. So that was really bad. And if he didn't do that, I think my assassination run is much more difficult. I still would probably find a way to go for it. I would think about it. Maybe I would, out of Arcane Vortex range, slam a posse into Maelok. And that'd be hard to do since it's a huge base and it's got a 3-inch Arcane Vortex range. So it's going to be pretty hard to get a posse out of Arcane Vortex range of Maelok. I'd have to be hoping on a really good slam distance of like a 3 or a 4 or something. But maybe I'd still go for it. Also, it's not the end of the world for me because this chimera can do its thing and then run away, which is kind of cool. Because I just used Apparate to line it up, and it still has its activation to run. So there's that. And then there's also the what if of I went first. When you go first, assassination is a lot more live for you because their army and their caster don't have as much separation distance between them because they're compressed into a smaller area. So to make that simpler, when you go first, you are giving them smaller board space to move up in, and so their caster is going to be closer to their lines. When they go first, they can separate their army from their caster by a decent distance, and why that's valuable is that my chimera has to get in range of their caster to do anything. So if there's a 10-inch distance between the front lines and the caster, my chimera has to find a really awkward spot to fit in there. And maybe it's just not possible. Maybe he can't get there. Maybe I have to use a force blast to move the models away and then TK chimera before I can do any of the things I want to. And that just burns all my focus. And then I'm using Rahn's feet for 1 TK. Whoop-de-doo. But there is a big difference between going first and going second. I went first. That was a big advantage. Oh, here's the end of the thing. Going first was a big advantage. So that's a 50-50 for me. There's a lot of value in talking about this. And then there's the value of, can I win on attrition? Because he just, forced my hand of I either have to assassinate him or win on attrition or somehow control his army. And I was thinking about that, and there's 2 interesting methods that I can do here. I can try and find his unit leader for each one of these units, and with battle mages or helios, push the unit leader out of command of the other guys, because I'm probably not killing any of them. So that's an option. I can just keep pushing the unit leader away, keep the other ones out of command, and then I just get a whole nother turn for assassination or whatever. Or I can try and pull his other guys out of feat range and out of the death ride range so that they drop down from, I think they're like armor 22, they drop down to something more reasonable, like armor 16 against spells. Oh, sorry, they're armor 20 against spells. They get +2 from unyielding. And then all of a sudden, my battle mages are killing the crap out of them. So trying to pull them out of feat range is also definitely an option. Helios has Polarity Shield. He can go up and just wail on a couple of these posse, and they're going to have a really hard time dealing them. And then I can use my drags to push the wrastler away. There's all kinds of options for attrition here, but it's worth discussing because more or less, I don't think I kill a whole lot. I think I can control a lot of his board. I think Helios and Phoenix get a lot of work done, but he has a very threatening wrastler that can do a lot of damage to Helios if I allow the wrastler to get to him. And he has a lot of posse that can absolutely just munch my battle mages. So I have to control the posse as well and potentially score some points on a flag. That'd be really nice to just score that. I'm going first, so he'll have a chance to contest, so he will. But I like that I would be forcing him to contest. These are all things you want to talk about, the what ifs after a game. There's a lot of value in them. And you know what? Just because I won this game, I don't feel amazing into Maelok. I still think that there's a lot of positioning. There's a lot of plays to be made there. And it's something that I need to be wary of in the future. I can't just walk in and be like, oh, it's Maelok. I killed him once, so I got this. So now I want to talk about deployment. I deploy differently based on whether I'm going for attrition or assassination. If I'm going for attrition, I'll cover that first. I'm looking at this battlefield, and I see a giant opening between the water, that forest, and that house That's where the battle is going to be taking place based on the speeds of our armies. Or over here on the right-hand side in this big opening. Those are the two places for the battles. So when I deploy, I am trying to deploy myself for attrition so that I can maximize my efficiency in those battle locations. Meaning, I'm trying to put something with Pathfinder behind this forest so it can get up, and then probably same for that water. And I'm trying to get around this water to the left, and I'm trying to get into this open space here in the middle. And I'm trying to have my attrition pieces be in the correct places so that they can set up for fighting whatever comes into this middle area. Over here, I'm just stalling. I just put stuff over here. I don't want to fight out in that open spot. I think that house is, if he overcommits to the right side of that house, I can just not have to worry about whatever he commits over there for a turn or two, because that house is going to block off that entire side. Also, Rahn's going to be behind that house, chilling out, and if I need to, I can bounce him around to the other side of the house. So that's what I'm looking at for attrition. I also have to look at what solo is going to be scoring that flag. What models are going to go contest that flag. Those are things I have to think about. Going to contest that flag is going to be Phoenix. He's going to be speed of deathing. Elara is probably going to go to this corner of this house and get over into that flag and just be around a whole bunch of posse and be super annoying. Lanyssa or Magister are going to score this flag. I have two because I'm worried about one of them getting shot. And yeah, so there's that. For him, just get models up there. He's got the Sacral Vault right behind that forest, and that's going to take care of his Pathfinder issue. He can give the wrastler Ghostly. So that's how I deploy for attrition. I think about how I want my models to enter the spots of the battlefield where the fight is going to be taking place. And I think about how I want my models to score and making sure I have the appropriate models to score the appropriate places. I have battle mages to score that central circle. Rahn's going to score that right rectangle. Lanyssa and Magister are going to score that left flag. And I've got contesting pieces throughout. Also, Sylis can run over and contest that flag if I really need him to, or part of the arcanist unit, or an arcanist, or there's options there. These battle mages are all probably going to die, which is why I was looking for other contesting models. So if I'm going for assassination, things are different. I'm just trying to grab as much board presence as possible, get my arc nodes as far as forward as possible, and set it up so that my helios is in a good position for his pulls. The way a Rahn assassination works is it starts with a chimera, getting to a spot where I can either line up a TK, a force hammer, or chain blast to knock down the caster. If I knock down the caster, Helios's pulls become very reliable. And it's a 3-step process. Chimera gets up there, caster gets knocked down, Helios goes and fetches the caster, brings him to the front lines with getting around the other models and units. Battle mages then drag the caster from the front lines all the way to my front lines, and then Phoenix kills it. That's the Rahn assassination in a nutshell. It's extremely flexible. I think there's 70 inches of push-pull in the list. If you add it all up, it's something stupid ridiculous. I can go the board and almost another board of moving stuff around. A lot of things that screw with the list: Arcane Vortex, Spell Denial, Stealth, Line of Sight Denial, Anti-Push-Pull, Anti-Placement. There's a lot of things that screw with the list, but into a lot of things it works. And when it doesn't work, I have Kalisa, or I can just play Rahn Attrition, which is actually pretty solid. This Helios is going to be really a bully in this game, even though he's going to mortality at every turn. Helios is really going to bully the posse, because there's only going to be so many landing spots with that wall right there, and the wrastler is going to be controlled all game long, and he's just going to be hosing down 3 or 4 posse a turn. So that's how I'm playing for assassination. I need to have all of my steps of the assassination set up on turn 1. Chimera's set up so that it can freely go wherever it needs to. Helios is set up so it can go right down the middle of the board and have a trample landing spot. It might clip one of the battle mages, but you know what? That's a sacrifice willing to make. All the battle mages have paths that they can get where they can pull something that's about in the middle of the board where I predict Maelok to end up, even if I have to dig him out. Everything's set up here. So let me know what you guys think. I ranted way too long. Hopefully there's some value in it. Thank you guys for watching.